Hello, and welcome to Filmsquatch, the podcast where two guys from the Deep South watch and review movies about Bigfoot. It's that simple. Each episode takes a look at a single film about a Sasquatch or a Yeti, and the guys break it down for you. Patrick and Kendall are true believers, but they're too old, too fat, and too lazy to get up off their sofas and go hunt for a Sasquatch themselves. So they just sit back and watch movies about them. Now, let's head over to the Filmsquatch screening room, where Patrick and Kendall are ready to discuss their latest film.
Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Filmsquatch. With you as always is yours truly, Kendall Fontenot, and with me is my good buddy Patrick. How you doing, Patrick?
Doing good, man. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Been busy at work, but other than that, everything's good. Everything's going fine. Today we're going to be taking a look at 2004 classic film. This is arguably one of the greatest films ever made. We're going to be taking a look at 2004's Suburban Sasquatch. And I believe you have a trailer for us, don't you?
Yeah, let's take a look at the trailer and we'll be right back.
Typical homicide. Bigfoot.
He was big and hairy and he had huge fangs.
We're at the Suburban Nature Park.
That's how you say. I'm ready.
Who's coming to get you?
Bigfoot.
Sasquatch! Bigfoot!
All right. So you just saw the trailer for Suburban Sasquatch. Patrick, why don't you get us started on this movie? Why don't you tell us a little bit about the film?
All right, man. I'll give everybody the elevator pitch of Suburban Sasquatch. It's basically the suburbs, and there's a Sasquatch in it, all right? And you got some cops and a reporter trying to track it down, go around asking people that were attacked by it questions. And you also have a mythical Native American female warrior that's got a magic bow and arrow that's trying to hunt down Bigfoot too. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Bigfoot's on a rampage for some reason.
He is in the suburb.
And there's a Thunderbird. Poorly done CGI Thunderbird and some poorly done CGI crows and some poorly done CGI arms and blood and all sorts of other stuff mixed in with some pretty bad practical effects.
You want to talk about the director / writer / cameraman / producer of this film?
Yeah, his name was or is Dave Wascavage. He actually appears in this film. And just look for the blonde-headed hunter with the bad wig. He even admits that it's a bad wig in the bloopers. I should also mention, before we go too far, both of us have this film on Blu-ray. And it came loaded with a bunch of special features, some bloopers, some behind-the-scenes material, the riff tracks version of the film, and another version with running commentary from the director, Wes Cavage. And that made the movie a lot more interesting, but it didn't make it much better. But yeah, Dave Wascavage, let's see. He put this film together. He wrote it. He directed it. And it seems like he just found a bunch of his good friends to be in this movie. It seems like it was a
Yes,
family affair.
right.
So
I
yeah,
don't think he found any actual actors. He just friends, neighbors, people in the town. I mean, the only person I really thought might have been an actress was the Indian, the
oh yeah,
native.
Sue Lynn Sanchez,
She
who
seemed to me
played
like the only one
Talia.
that kind of somewhat knew what she was doing.
Yep.
But yeah, while you're on it, you want to talk about the actors?
Yeah, I mean, you had Bill Ushler as Rick Harlan. It's him and Talia who joined forces. He's the reporter, and she's the mystic warrior who's out to find Bigfoot. And there's some other people in this movie too. There's Dave Bonavita, Juan Fernandez, who plays one of the cops. There are a couple cops in this film, and one of them is out for blood, I guess you could say, with this Bigfoot. He has a personal vendetta against it. And in this poor Juan Fernandez, he plays Steve Parker. He's kind of along for the ride. There's also Wes Miller, Loretta Weskevich, who plays Rick's grandmother. And she even has a connection with the Mystic in this movie. Uh, the film's kind of all over the place. I mean, there are some other folks in this movie, but really those are the ones that needed to be mentioned. Um, Nobody did that great of a job. I hate to say that, but the acting isn't
Man,
that good. And I
the
think that Dave, you know, he did this. I don't think his intent was to make an Oscar worthy film. I think he was just having some fun.
dude,
I hope
I
that's what he was
disagree,
doing.
man. I think he thought this was a great movie, man, that he was making. I really do. Okay, I had the question, before I watched the behind the scenes stuff on the disc, I thought that did they set out just to make fun, make a movie that was low budget and cheesy? But then after listening to him talk and some of the other people on the production, I think he really thought he was making something great here. And listening to a commentary he did years later, he still thinks he made a great movie, man.
Yeah,
I,
this
I
one's
just couldn't believe the stuff I
now.
heard, just
I did not get to hear his running commentary on the film. I haven't watched that version of it yet,
yeah.
but I did see him talking about the bloopers and also talking about setting up the scene in the field where the hunters get attacked.
Yeah.
And you're correct on. He seems very serious about what he's talking about, but I
You know,
still believe that he knew what he was doing the whole time, and that this was intentionally a bad move, coupled with the fact that there was probably zero budget
yeah.
and that he just grabbed his best friends to be in this movie. He couldn't expect it to be something amazing.
I think he was expecting. I think he was shooting for that Oscar. Man, did you notice the cops? They had no patches, no badge, no patches, no name tapes, no state pat, nothing.
No gun holster.
Yeah, no gun
Uh,
holster.
did you notice they carry their guns throughout the whole film?
And they talk about that in the behind the scenes stuff. One of them said, "Why are you holding your gun?" Well, I don't have anywhere to put it. I don't have a holster. But yeah, super low budget. Well, I
Yep.
say super low budget, but it looks like they actually had some money. You know?
I don't know what you're talking about because I don't. Other than the massive nipples on the Bigfoot creature, I don't see where they spend any money.
The acting in this, the whole movie came across to me like a bad high school play. That's about what it was to me.
Yep, I can definitely see that. Yeah, this movie was something else. Why don't we talk about the CGI and the effects, the practical and the CGI effects?
Yeah, the cinematography too. While we're on it,
okay. The cinematography. It looks like it was shot on VHS in 1987, and
you're right. It looks awfully grainy, and especially in the dark scenes.
It's very grainy.
It's really grainy.
Yep. Which were all shot in the daytime because they didn't have enough funds to shoot at night. That's one of the things that I found. Yeah. The cinematography, that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
You notice some of the scenes, there were smudges on the lens.
Yeah.
And some even there was this weird, I guess you would call them lens flares, just from the way they were holding the camera or something. It just didn't look right. Just a lot of flaws like that in the cinematography.
Yeah,
but you know
definitely.
what? He tried. You got to bless him.
Yeah,
Bless
I
his
mean,
heart. He was out there trying, and I mean, some of the shots were composed okay. They just weren't executed good. He tried.
yeah, yeah.
And the
Uh,
lighting, the it looks like they didn't use any lights at all. No reflector boards, bounce boards, anything like that.
no,
Just existing lighting, and I think that just if they would have just used some reflectors, like out in the woods and that, there's some shadows on the faces that look weird. If they could
yeah,
have bounced that out with, I mean, if he couldn't afford a reflector, just put some cardboard in a white pillowcase and help block out some light or something,
yeah.
shadows. And I don't know. I think a lot could have been done to this film that wasn't.
And, I believe the audio too
Oh,
was kind of all over the place.
dude, that
Um,
audio, and you can see it from the behind the scenes stuff. He's out there with a camera on a tripod, and that's it. No lights, no boom pole operator, no external mic, no sound recordist. He's shooting all the audio from the actors with the built-in mic on the camera, man. And that don't ever do that. If you're making a film, don't ever use the internal camera mic. Always get you some external mics, whether it's
uh,
lapel, boom mic. You could go like to Walmart for probably $50 or less, get a lapel mic, or
yeah.
get on Amazon, get 2 lapel mics for $50. Don't ever use the in-camera audio. That's setting you up from failure before you even begin.
You want to talk about the music?
Yeah, you said you wanted to talk about the digital effects and stuff too.
Oh yeah, yeah. We can talk about that first. Uh, they were terrible.
Yeah.
The CGI effects were just really bad. Um, it was obviously fake. They didn't even try to hide it. I mean, it
You
was
think?
blatantly fake. And then the practical effects, my biggest hang up with those, I mean, he was chewing on fake legs and fake arms and stuff like that. Um, some of the practical effects would have looked better. I mean, they were done well, but they didn't look good. They were, like when he rips off the lady's leg.
Yeah. But
I
some didn't
mean,
make sense at all. Like Bigfoot would slap somebody and bones would
yeah,
fly, you
yeah,
know, and these were
and
clean bones, no flesh, no blood. They looked
yeah,
polished. I mean, he would
and,
like whack, whack, and here like 2 or 3 bones would fly in the air.
yeah,
It's
and the
just
continuity was
weird,
all over the place.
weird.
He crushed the guy's head, and the next
Yeah.
scene, the guy's head's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
He'd rip an arm off, and then the arm would be back
And the
later in the
blood
scene.
spurts, like
Yeah,
like he would slap somebody and like 3 gallons of blood would shoot up like a geyser,
yeah.
just all
And
digital.
his strengths were all over the place as well. He'd slap someone and they would die instantly. And then later on in the movie, he'd slap someone else. It'd be a big rip across their chest or whatever, but they would survive somehow.
Or he'd pick
And
up a car
oh
over his
gosh,
head, and I mean, like it was a can of Pringles. There was no
yeah,
effort. He'd just pick up a car. I mean, even like the $6 million man had to put some effort.
yep.
He strained a little, but not Bigfoot. He just whoop
And
picks
he
up a
was
car.
obviously on a step stool a few times
Yeah.
in the movie because you see him standing above someone and his crotch is right in their face.
Well,
And
they
he
showed on
squats
the
down
behind the
at him.
scenes. If you watch it, he actually had the actors kneel down, and he put Bigfoot on a couple of steps up on a stool, and he shot low, like with the actors kneeling.
Yeah.
But it didn't make sense how Bigfoot would grow like tall, like rise up above him.
Mm-hmm.
It was just crazy, man.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
what I was watching.
mentioning that car tossing scene, the cop car, it was CGI. The car was. I think they would have done better if they would have just taken a picture of a cop car and put it on a popsicle stick, just because that's what it looked like. It looked like those old popsicle stick things we used to do in vacation Bible school when I was a kid.
Right.
It
While we're
it was
talking about
bad.
that, you just reminded me of our friends, the Dorfman brothers, who make
Yeah,
short films, and they made a few Bigfoot
right.
films, and they've won in competition, one of our competitions. These are kids, and they actually did that in some of their movies. They cut out pictures and almost use them like puppets, and they look way better than this.
Yep,
I
yep,
know exactly what you're
absolutely.
talking about. Yeah, he should have done that.
Yep. And the creature itself, I already mentioned the big, massive
Man.
nipples. They almost look sunken in, like
And
they were
bloody or
inverted.
something. Like something was
Like you
weird.
could watch direct TV off of them. Yeah.
And he had abs, like big abs and big boobs, and they were all bloody looking, and it's just, oh, it was strange.
Now I will
Okay,
give them those.
when I first saw the costume, I thought, okay, they went to Party City and they bought a gorilla costume and they changed up the face.
Yeah.
But actually, they didn't. If you watch that behind the scenes stuff, dude, they had a lady that made this costume from scratch. She measured an actor. She cut out the fur, sewed this together. They did buy like some kind of a Halloween mask and add fur and stuff to it. But yeah, they might as well just got a gorilla suit. It would have saved them time and money, and it probably looked the same. But they wouldn't have those tits and abs.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I'll give him kudos for having him eat on camera.
Yeah, that's the only
I
time.
mean,
Notice the mask stayed stationary. It never
yeah,
moved the face, except that he's eating in the rubber. He's like
yeah.
mashing
You
a
see it
bone, and the
moving.
rubber face
Yep,
kind of moves.
yep. I mean, it looked bad, but at least they tried.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. Yeah. And then as far as that we've already talked about the actors. The acting itself was bad. Um, the posters. That's probably the one thing they got right,
There's
in
one
my
that I
opinion.
really like. I guess it's kind of like in that Mondo style. It's like a painting,
Yeah.
and
You're
it
talking
shows
about the one on
Bigfoot
the
holding a
Blu-ray
car
case?
over his head, and it's got the girl with the bow and arrow, and it's got
Yeah.
some kid. That
The
looked good. I really like that one.
It's like yellow, black, and orange, or black and
Yeah,
red. Yeah.
look great.
Yeah. That one, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Now the one on the cover of the Blu-ray, which the Blu-ray features a reversible cover,
Hmm.
but the one where it's the creature, they actually have slightly enlarged nipples on that thing, but it looks legit. It's a good looking creature.
You just reminded me of something. Did you notice this Bigfoot had genitalia?
No, I didn't, because I couldn't look away from the nipples.
It's hidden in the shadows and that, but every once in a while, like when he was backlit and stuff, I would see something hanging between his legs. I thought it was just fur. And I was looking at it, and then I just dismissed it. But then on the commentary in that, they actually tried to make genitalia that he does have something hanging there. It's just lost in the shadows and the bad film and camera work and that, which
I
is
didn't
good.
see that.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But he almost, it was almost like Sasquatch Sunset with him running around with a wiener dangling
With their things out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about this movie? I know we're going through this quick,
Well,
this episode.
we always talk about our favorite scenes.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
My favorite scene was the mechanic with the springs and the creature attacking both of those guys.
Yeah.
That's probably it for me. I thought it was funny because he got mad at the guy for not bringing the springs to him, and then the Bigfoot rips him out from underneath the car after he kills the other guy. Yeah, that's probably my favorite scene. If I had to pick one, that would be it. How about you?
Man, any of the scenes with the Native American girl,
The
she looked good, man. I gotta say, man, they found
Yeah.
they found a good actress there and good costume. I really liked her. She was pretty.
Yeah,
But also, but I think one of my favorite scenes was when he picks up that cop car over his head and tosses it like a can of Pringles. Just hilarious.
Now, you mentioned the Native American girl. I will say this: they dropped a lot of Bigfoot beliefs
They did
throughout this film.
Yeah.
Legitimate beliefs. They didn't, not just stuff that they just made up out in the air.
Yeah, he's
pulled out of the
mystical.
air. Because some people do believe he can shift between dimensions and all this
Right.
other kind of stuff, and the creature would just vanish in the movie. And when it first happened, I thought it was just bad editing, but he does it a few times in the movie, and also the connection with the Thunderbird being her spirit guide or whatever, and the crows helping and all this mystical type stuff. This is all part of Native American lore. Whether you believe it or not is fully up to you, but it's out there. They didn't just make a lot of that stuff up. And
Man,
I
remember
like
that
that.
one
I did
scene?
like that.
He rips a
What's
little
that?
dog in half.
Oh, Muffy, I think is the dog.
Muffy picks up Muffy and rips him in half, man. Yeah.
And there's one scene where he
Okay,
rips a
okay.
guy's guts out and jams him down his throat.
Yeah. I'll tell you another scene that I thought was great. Is those two fishermen, and Bigfoot like rips one of them's arm off. But when he
Yeah,
rips an arm off, he doesn't rip the whole arm off. He rips like a part of the forearm and hand. It's
yeah.
weird the way he rips an arm off. It's just strange. But anyway, yeah, he rips that one fisherman's arm off, and the other one turns around and looks at him, and he throws the arm and hand and hits that fisherman in the chest
It
and
knocks him out.
knocks him out, and he's floating in the river. That was funny.
And I also thought it was funny whenever the little kid is playing
Oh
outside and
yeah,
he
with the
runs
soccer
and he
ball.
said, "There's a boogeyman," and his mom said something along the lines of, "The boogeyman doesn't exist. He's just like your father. He's not here," or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they had little quips like that were funny. I mean, they were legitimately funny. But yeah. And I also want to mention, if you grew up watching PBS as a kid and you saw a series called Degrassi High or Degrassi Junior High, I grew up watching both of those shows religiously. And there's an actor in this movie who makes a brief cameo. He's Rick's friend in the restaurant. I don't remember the character's name, but it's a guy named Neil Hope. He played the character Wheels
Does he
on
got the
Degrassi.
glasses?
Yep, that's him.
Yeah.
And he wore glasses on Degrassi as well. And he passed away. His story is tragic. I don't remember exactly all the details, but if you ever want to read about just a tragic career, look up Neil Hope and see what happened to him. It was really, really sad. He actually appeared in Degrassi: The Next Generation right before he passed away, and it's worth checking out, especially if you grew, like I said, if you grew up watching Degrassi as a kid. And I'm not talking about the Next Generation stuff. I watched all that too because all the old characters came back, or a lot of them did. I just wanted to catch up with all the old characters. But yeah, that was a nice little thing that they threw in there. Movie was shot in Pennsylvania, and Neil Hope is Canadian. So I don't know if they ran up there and got him. I don't know how he ended up in this movie. Maybe he did it as a favor, but yeah, he's in the movie briefly. Do you have anything else to add? I mean, we've covered the acting, the effects, the poster, the creature, cinematography, and the music. Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I just want to say, okay, we were talking about like you thought they set out to make a bad cheesy movie. Dude, I swear, man, watching all the commentaries and the behind the scenes stuff, I think they really thought they were making a really good movie. Because okay, when I was talking about there's a behind the scenes video of the lady and the director talking about the costume. They bring the actor in, and the lady's talking about how she's going to approach making the costume. And she's saying stuff like she wants it to have bone structure and muscle structure beneath the fur to where it doesn't look like a sack, just floppy sack. Well, dude, everything she's saying, they did just the opposite because it did look like a floppy sack in some of the scenes, with it running. It's
Yeah.
just loose. You could tell, looks like a potato sack or something. But everything she was talking about, and she said that she knows that the director is wanting like a formidable character, and she wants it to look. I forgot the word she used, but like she wants it to look really scary and really intimidating or something. I'm like, dude,
Definitely scary.
this was
But
comical. When you see that face on that Bigfoot, he's comical looking.
yeah.
It looks like
Yeah.
a clown costume that they put hair on to make a Bigfoot.
It was
So,
scary in all the wrong ways.
but they set out, I think they really tried and thought they were making a good Bigfoot movie. I mean, they went all out. He hired that airplane to do aerial shots of the suburbs, fly over and in a Cessna. He went up with a camera and I mean, he went all out on this film.
Well, and mentioning the suburbs, there have been reports over the years because, I mean, humanity keeps expanding out into the forests, encroaching on woodlands. Sightings supposedly pick up around areas where there's new development. And I remember that all the way back. The first time I ever heard of that happening was on Unsolved Mysteries, the old TV show from like the late 80s or whatever it was.
Well, Robert
It was in
Stack.
Colorado.
Yeah.
There was, with Robert Stack, there was a suburb somewhere in Colorado, and these people claim to have been not attacked, but it messed with by Bigfoot. And they had some hair on a door that they found, and they sent it off for testing. Of course, we didn't have DNA testing like we have now, but that was like the first time I ever heard of that type of thing. And like around here where I live, they've got tons of people moving out here all the time. This used to be relatively country, and now I've got neighbors all over the place, and the coyotes are crazy out here because they have nowhere to go. And again, that was a nice little touch. It's like Wiskevich had all the right pieces. He just didn't know how to put them together.
Yeah.
In the movie. He didn't execute it well. And I mean, I'm not knocking the guy. He made a movie, but yeah, it just seemed like all the right ingredients were there. They just didn't execute.
And one of the actors on the commentary or one of the interviews, they said something like they've always wanted to be in a Dave Westcavage film. That was like their dream. And I'm thinking, that's like saying your dream is to go and walk around a Walmart or something. It's not much of a dream to be in one of his films. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, I don't have anything else to add about this movie.
Well,
do you have
want to
anything
say,
else?
I don't want to use the phrase "so bad it's good" because this is not the case, and this one's so bad it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
But over the years, man, this film has gained a cult following.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people who watch it and continue watching it. I've seen this thing 3 times. I think it's a horrible movie, but it's fun. It's fun to watch.
Yeah,
and I can't explain that. You have to watch it yourself to understand what I'm talking about.
Well, at a panel that I presented one time on the history of Bigfoot movies, I had a person in the audience. He came in like 30 minutes early. I was the first panel of the day in that room, and he came in and we were talking, and he spoke about Suburban Sasquatch and how much he enjoyed it and how bizarre the movie was. But he said there's just something about it, as terrible as it is, it clicks for him.
Yeah, I remember somebody, I think it was in Falk, came up to our table and said, "Hey, have y'all ever seen Suburban Sasquatch?" So there's a lot of people, they know about it. It's definitely a cult following.
Yes.
It's gotten some momentum over the years.
When we were in Biloxi, Mississippi, a guy mentioned it to us.
Yeah,
I mean, it always pops up.
It sounds like somebody brings up Suburban Sasquatch. And I know you wanted to talk about the discs, the Blu-ray set. Did you want to do that after we rated the movie, or what do you want to do?
I mean, we can go ahead and talk about that.
Okay,
It
I
came
just want to
with,
say they include a Riff Tracks version on there.
yeah,
And if you don't know, anybody doesn't know what Riff Tracks is, it's kind of like the old MST3K where some guys
yeah,
do commentary while the film's running and just make
yep,
fun of it, And to be able to be selected as a riff track, I mean, that's pretty cool. Because then a whole lot of other people around the world, probably millions, see it.
yeah,
A film that might have not been seen otherwise gets noticed. And
yep,
a lot of riff tracks end up late night at movie theaters. So this film could have actually had a theatrical release, through riff
right.
tracks. That's crazy, man.
And, I mean, that gives the film more and more exposure.
Yeah,
And that might be the reason so many people mention it to us whenever we're at conventions or,
yeah,
places like that. They've seen it, because
yeah.
they know that movie because of riff tracks or whatever. But yeah, but yeah, it comes with, the case is amazing.
Yeah.
It comes with a reversible sleeve. You can pick the cover that you want for it. It also comes with a poster of the primary cover that they use for the Blu-ray. The disc itself features the black and yellow with Bigfoot image where he's lifting the car up over his head. And then there's also you've got the blooper reels, you've got making of, you've got commentary by the director. You've also got, and my favorite thing about it was the stickers they included, which is
Yeah, a
the
little
old
sheet of
VHS
stickers. Yeah,
rental
be kind,
stickers.
rewind, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that
thought
was cool.
that was a cool little additional thing.
Dude, talking about the commentary with the director, dude, even that is horrible. I don't know how they recorded it. I mean, you and I would sit down with the recorder and probably put a lapel mic on each of us, or use some kind of a podcast mic and record a commentary. This sounds like they phoned it in and bad recording, talking in a can, squeaky. They can't even get a commentary right. I don't know what they did. Just this is weird all the way around. And if you want to buy the Blu-ray, don't expect this movie to be Blu-ray quality. There was no
Right,
restoration to the film or anything. They basically took the bad, grainy, crude film and burned it to a Blu-ray. Okay, so you're not getting any kind of a high quality image or anything. You're just getting it on Blu-ray, pretty
right.
much. But it
Yep.
is packed with a lot of stuff. I ended up watching it all. I'll tell you what I like better than anything was the trailers for some other movies that
Yeah, at the
this
beginning,
production company that released it has some other movies out there
yeah,
that's
it's a
pretty cool.
Vengeance video, I believe is what it's
Yeah.
called, something like that.
Uh, Replicator.
Yeah, there's a whole lot going on with this movie.
Yeah.
Um, it's just so let's just cut to the chase.
All right.
Patrick, I'm gonna let you go first this time around. Um, on a scale of 1 to 10 Bigfoot tracks, with one Bigfoot track being the worst Bigfoot movie you've ever seen, and 10 being the greatest Bigfoot film ever made, where does Suburban Sasquatch fall on your track listing?
Man. Well, poking fun at the director and stuff. Like I always say, I mean, he did it. He made a movie, and in the commentary and that he's talking about how many like a bunch of weekends they spent and how
Yeah,
hard the crew worked in that. Well, not really the crew because it was just him. Like if you watch the behind the scenes, it's him with the camera on a tripod, moving around, shooting. He's the cameraman. He's everything. They had no sound people, no lighting, no, eh, just he was a one-man production. But talking about how hard and the actors showed up every weekend. And so, I mean, that took a lot. And
yeah,
as bad as it was, I got to hand it to him, man. Kudos to the director. He wrote a script, he gathered the actor base, and he got out there and filmed the movie, made a costume. He did it. A
yeah,
lot of filmmakers, independent filmmakers, set out to make a film they just give up. They never finish. I'll raise my hand, including myself. I've worked on several that I just never finished. I finished some, but I'd say a lot of them I haven't finished. But when I do, I hope it's going to be better than Suburban Sasquatch. But I'll tell you, it looks like they had a lot of fun, and to me, that's more important than people liking your film is how much fun that you had making it, and completing it. That's the most important thing. So, kudos to him and his cast for doing this. And like I said, you got to watch it to believe it. It's one of those sheep movies. You know what I mean? It's bad. But check it out. Get the Blu-ray. And I heard he's making a sequel, but he's been saying that for years now, probably like a decade. Hasn't come about yet, but I hope he does. I'm ready for it. See what he does with the new technology, But yeah, man. So I'll give him a point for finishing it, and dude, just for the cheesiness and the value, the fun value of it, I'll give him another point. I mean, I can see college students around the world up at 3 a.m., drunk, smoking weed, laughing like crazy at this movie. So yeah, it's got entertainment value. So he did do that. So anyway, that's it. I give it a total of 2 Bigfoot tracks. So what about you?
Right there with you. I'm right there with you. 2 Bigfoot tracks. It's not a good movie. It's bad. The acting is bad. The cinematography is bad. The music is bad. Everything is bad. But there's something appealing about this movie. I don't know if it's just you want to watch it just to see how bad it can get.
Yeah.
Or what? But yeah,
it's like a car wreck. Everybody slows down and looks. They want to see the wreck.
And then once you've watched it the first time through, you can put it on in the background and go do stuff and come back and just watch it and laugh for a couple minutes and then go do something else. And I'm right there with you. Two Bigfoot tracks on this one. And I do recommend people watch it. I don't recommend them to expect some masterpiece. It's going to be terrible. You know what you're getting into. Just get a big old bucket of popcorn, your favorite adult beverage, and enjoy this movie.
Definitely. And I'll definitely watch this one a few more times, between now and next year.
I think that you could make drinking games out of this movie. I mean, there's potential for drinking games in this movie, and you'll get torn up watching this movie if you make a drinking game out of it. So yeah, that is Suburban Sasquatch, folks. Go out and see it. Buy a copy of it on Blu-ray. Support this film. Support all the people that worked on it. And if you see us out in public anywhere, at a convention or just on the street, talk to us about Suburban Sasquatch if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, talk to us about it. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this movie. And if anybody who worked on the film is listening and they want to come on our show and talk to us about it, we're more than happy to have you
come on here and redeem yourself.
Yeah, and talk to us.
Defend your film.
Explain those nipples. And just let us have it. If you disagree with us completely, tell us.
Yeah.
That's all I've got, Patrick. Anything else you want to add for the night?
Yeah, I just want to say, like you said, if you see us out and about, come up to us and talk to us. But I just want to say, if you see us in the suburbs, you might not want to run up to us because we're going to be on edge. And I'll tell you why. I mean, after watching this film, if I'm in the suburbs, especially if I'm walking my little dog Muffy along the sidewalk and I see something coming at me quick, I might think it's a Suburban Sasquatch and pull out my gat, pop a few caps in him, But you never know. But maybe that hot Native American chick will come to my aid with her magic bow and arrow. But if you are walking
with the emerald tips,
yeah, walking Muffy, in the suburbs, you better watch your back because Bigfoot is out there.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Filmsquatch. If you like the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review and tell your friends about us. Make sure to like us on Facebook and join in on some of our interactive discussions. Remember, Bigfoot is out there. Watch your back.